All right, and we're back. Eddie, thanks so much for joining us for this conversation. So appreciate your time. Give us a quick intro, remind us who you are, and we'll get right into it.
Yeah, hello everyone. My name's Eddie. I am one of the maintainers of GraphQL Code Gen at the Guild. That's my part-time job, and I'm working as a product engineer at SIG as well. Thanks for having me back, Jeff.
Oh, so glad you're here. Really enjoyed the first part of this conversation. I'll drop the link in the video description for folks in case you missed it. I want to talk some GraphQL, Eddie. In particular, GraphQL Code Generator is such an impactful project. It's pretty ubiquitous in our community. Can you tell us a little more about the history of the project, how you got involved, and what users should know right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So, CodeGen started about 10 years ago, like almost as old as GraphQL, right? Um, so it started to help with the end-to-end typing of different languages, not just on the clients, but on the server side as well. Like we got stuff like in C Sharp, we got stuff in Java, like all the community plugins that people created over the last 10 years. And also for some really interesting scenarios like generating mocks or generating like the utilities for clients, right? So it's not just about client or server use cases, but anything that you can think of, like given a schema or given a document, you can create stuff out of it. Because at the very low level, it reads GraphQL syntax, and then you from there you got all the information you need to generate code out of it. Yeah, so that's the 30-second introduction of CodeGen. Um, so when I started working on GraphQL, that this is one of the first tool that really speed up our development. I was using Apollo client at the time, right? And then CodeGen help us kind of sync the types of the documents and the service types. And then it really helped us build the product at the time. We were building a chat system for our users, and we were using subscription, and it helps like sync up all the types and help us work really nicely with Apollo client at the time. So, yeah, can't believe it's been like 8, 10 years since I built that project, and it's still working very well. Like sometimes
That's
I
so
go
cool.
back, yeah, back to my company's website and just try a few things to see how it's working. Yeah, super
Amazing.
fun.
And there's a new version out now, right? For CodeGen?
Yeah,
A new
absolutely.
major version.
Yeah, there's a new major version. We simplified a lot of the client types. Uh, we're seeing something like reduction of 95% of generated code, which is like huge for pipelines. It reduces time to generate a lot as well. And we want it to be really lightweight going forward, really easy to get started and get people on the right typing without a lot of config changes. So that's one of the main intention of this new version. Yeah.
That's super cool. So, folks tuning in at home, if you have not upgraded yet, it sounds like this is your sign. 95% savings. That is a huge improvement in efficiency. Do you mind giving us just, a high level, like what levers did y'all pull in order to make that possible? Was there like where did you find those efficiencies?
Yeah, so we saw that throughout the history of CodeGen, it started like the very first plugin if I remember correctly, is to generate types from schema types. And as you know, like a schema may grow very big. And then this first plugin would be generating every type from that schema,
Mm.
right? And then every plugins after that, because it's built on top of the type of this very first plugin. So in a way, even if your client doesn't use all the types from your schema, it's still being generated into your template. So for a brand new front end repo, for example, and when you try to make a request to GitHub, uh, and where it has a really big schema, right? You still be generating all of GitHub schema into your types, and that is where that is one of the uh, changes is that we no longer generate every schema types into by default anymore. We only see what's being used in the document and then generate it from there and cross-check against the schema to see the types of each field.
Makes total sense. Yeah, thanks for giving us a window into that. Paulo, where we no longer maintain a TypeScript code generator. We route our users to GraphQL Code Gen, but in Apollo Kotlin, Apollo iOS, we have to wrangle with the same kind of large scale efficiency questions too, of like what's in the operation and how do we make sure that we're doing the right work at the right time in order to service that to the user. I know that's really important and essential work. So thank you for doing it for the community. It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And another angle here is I'm doing it also for myself and my team, right? Because we're facing the exact same problems at work. And sometimes, time after time, people will reach out to me privately in my company at SIG, and they'll be like, "Hey, Eddie, he seems to be like an area of improvements." And they are hitting the same issues. My team's hitting the same issues. So, I'm in the right spot to make these changes for sure. Yeah.
The virtues of being close to users and being one yourself. Very cool. Well, and it's really interesting that now is such a great time to be using GraphQL in any statically typed language. Um, and I'm curious, another project out there of note that's playing in this space came out 2 or 3 years ago at this point now, but still no less impressive is gql.tada GraphQL SP, released by Phil and Yovi over at the Urkel project. Now with that out there, and for folks who might not be familiar, this is a pretty magical experience where your types are inferred by as a TypeScript plugin, I believe, and so what that ends up doing is it's inferring your types from the GraphQL you write and is skipping the step where you're getting TypeScript files with type declarations in there. So with that out there, what guidance do you have? Because I think a lot of folks who are aware of both these technologies are like, well, should I be still using generated types or should I be doing this more like uh, at uh, at coding time, kind of on the fly computation of types that gql.tada offers? So when users are considering their GraphQL and TypeScript stack, like what should they go for? And is it both? I don't know. Tell us, Eddie.
Yeah, totally. And I do love that word about this project. It's magical. And I had like when I saw it and started digging to see how it works under the hood, uh, it's very surprising to see the whole GraphQL like compiler system, right? With the AST, almost everything is built inside TypeScript, which is very cool. Um, now, uh, because it's hooked straight into TypeScript, there's a lot of benefits that comes out of it. It's like you get instant type uh, type updates as you typing things out. Um, But it also, I feel like it would also, you know, as the project scales up, there could be performance issues if there's too many files because TypeScript natively would pass a lot of files, like all of your TypeScript file in the system. Maybe it's not so much of an issues for the new compiler that TypeScript has in Go, 10x the performance. Um,
So that helps, yeah.
yeah, I do think it would help. And yeah, it would be interesting to see. I do really love the experience, how snappy it is, and all the uh, tooling and things that come with it.
It'd
So
be cool to have like a case study of like, hey, these are the performance characteristics when they're this specific load. My schema's this size, whatever it
mhm.
is. My code base is that size. Here's where the inflection point is. I don't know. I'm just imagining it. I really wish that I could get into the details there, but you know, very
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, totally. Um, and on the other side, right, CodeGen use like generate templates from your documents and schema, and I do find that because it's not hooked straight into TypeScript, right? So we still have to maintain our separate server of like a running watcher, for example, to detect the changes. We have to hand roll some of the like file watches, caching, things like that to make sure that CodeGen stays very efficient and performance at scale. I also find that it's easy for me as a beginner. When I was started using CodeGen, I could see the generated template and understand how the type's supposed to work
Mm.
and go into CodeGen, like code base. Like when I first started, I didn't know much about how the internals work. But going into CodeGen code base, look at, here's the input, here's the generated template output, and then just kind of like even write a test to make sure that, the generated outcomes is what I want. Right.
Yeah.
So it really helps contributors understand and understand like how GraphQL works at,
Yeah.
as a
An
TypeScript.
artifact, right? Like it's
Yeah,
an
yeah.
artifact you can check, you can statically analyze it. I think that's really interesting. And, I kind of waffle back and forth and I wonder whether that artifact and this, pulling it back to like, the age of agents and everything like that. I wonder whether having I'll say TypeScript, but I know like Kotlin and supported, for example, in other languages. But like having the generated types in your language of choice, I wonder if that's like tokens well spent, right? Is the agent able to get a better understanding of your code base having those available? Or conversely, I wonder if the agent's like, oh, okay, well, the GraphQL is enough, save your tokens. And I'm curious if that's a consideration at all for users or anything like that. I don't know. Have you heard anything, or have users have reported anything to that effect to you or your team?
No, not at uh, not like you. I think most of the time people would use agent just to read the GraphQL documents, for example.
Hmm,
It's concise. It got exactly what it needs. For it to understand the context and what the user is trying to do. Um, a lot of the time, people would look into the artifact to understand more about the internal wirings of CodeGen and decide whether they could use a different type um, or like extract some extra information from from the artifact.
totally.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised though. Like for example, recently I've been trying to solve uh, a type issue. Like we're trying to improve code chain types, um, and it's not generating it quite right. And I've been using an agent to go in and try to help me debug and see, how we could improve this typing. right? So not so much of a what's the word, like exploration of code gen, but just how to we could improve these artifacts. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
I think that's the light bulb moment there. I got a bit of a different question for you now. Show
yeah,
us something on your desk or within arm's reach and talk about it.
yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Maybe
All
just this one.
right.
It is very fresh off the press. It's
What do we
a
got?
I recently got a ran a half a marathon
All right.
in Melbourne just last week actually. My body is still aching and everything, but super fun to get out there, get away from my computer. It's a really hard thing to do, and just do a 20K run. And yeah, enjoy the Melbourne weather, and it's in winter right now, and it's a perfect time for a morning run like this. Yeah.
Congratulations. That's amazing. Like what temperatures are you dealing with there?
Uh, I remember getting out of my car to walk to the venue. Uh,
5
five
Celsius?
degrees Celsius. So
Okay. That's
I
pretty
don't
good
know.
for distance running, I feel like,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. It's amazing. Yeah, getting there, getting the first 1 or 2 Ks is was the hardest, and then after that, it's all fun. The atmosphere was amazing. Yeah,
Amazing. Congratulations. It sounds like a really fun experience. I'm glad you shared it with us.
yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, Eddie, thank you so much for sharing your insights about GraphQL, GraphQL Code Gen, all of our burning questions about how to use that technology along with our TypeScript stack and all the other languages that are supported. I know a lot of folks will be really happy to hear from you on this. So it's been a real privilege.
Yeah, absolutely. Same for me, Jeff. Thanks for having me. It's so much fun.
Thank you. Talk to you later.
See ya.